And we'll keep the football conversation going because tonight all eyes will be on Thomas Frank as his beleaguered Tottenham side host Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. We will bring you full commentary. Remember tonight, 5 Live, 8 o'clock. Now, Thomas Frank is under enormous pressure following Saturday's home defeat to London rivals West Ham, but he was his normal, calm self yesterday.
I've just been, how can you say, feeling the trust along the way. I've said that every press meeting that is backing and support. I had lunch with Nick and Vinay and Johan today, so all good. I know it's part of the, the media circus, and the only focus I have is to do everything I can for us to win tomorrow against Dortmund.
So welcome to the media circus, and we're inviting Spurs fan Chris Cowlin to join us in the ring. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Gordon.
Always good to speak to you. What do you make of that then? Frank saying there, all good. Would you agree? Would you disagree? Would you concur?
It's not all good at the moment. We've won one game in the last 5 weeks, 2 draws, 5 defeats, and I feel like the large majority of the fans have given up on Thomas Frank. Mm-hmm. We've heard, you're getting sacked in the morning on Saturday before the final whistle against West Ham, and then boring Tottenham away at Brentford. Boos for the manager, boos for the team throughout this campaign so far. I feel like this season has been a bit of a disaster, and I feel like the club are trying to stick with him. They want this to be a long-term plan. They want this to be a long-term manager at the club, but sadly, I just can't see this working.
Chris, just listening to what you said there as well, it's quite an intimate thing, isn't it, on the radio when you hear a voice like that, but do you think he sounds like the confidence is just evaporating a little bit from him? Because he did have quite a powerful presence when he was at Brentford. That seems, I don't know if you think this, but it feels like he is just losing a little bit of that power.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gone to a bigger club, and I'm not putting this all on Thomas Frank. We should have done a lot more in the transfer window to back him, and I could say that about a lot of managers, certainly in recent times, since 2019, since Pochettino days, and we've gone through 6 different managers, since that time, also interim managers. So, and of course the players need to step up and play for him as well. But I just feel like some of those players now have given up. The body language doesn't look good. And when you lose the fans, particularly the away fans, I'm not sure how a manager can come back from this. But yeah, he looks absolutely tired and drained at the end of some of these games recently. But to go into a press conference, having just had lunch with Vinay Venkatesham, the CEO, and the sporting director, Johan Langer, they must have said something. But I just feel like they have got it wrong as well, because the fan base at the moment are calling for Thomas Frank to be sacked. And I just think that, the longer this goes on, the longer he stays in this position, particularly losing games in the manner and fashion that we are, the board are going to be under serious pressure as well.
Yeah, Chris, being really honest about it, do you think the last time Spurs fans were happy with the manager was with Pochettino? Was that the last time you felt that you were happy going to the ground?
I think that's the last time when everyone felt the connection, yes, absolutely.
And with that in mind then, Chris, how deep do the problems lie? Because Pochettino left because he felt like he wasn't supported by the board.
Yeah. You go back to the comments when he said, we've got this great mansion and you need the furniture to put in it. And then, of course, we heard those comments, that famous rant from Antonio Conte after the Southampton draw. And only a couple of weeks ago, Christian Romero writing what he did about the board, the huge dig at the board. We need to learn from mistakes, and we need to do things in the right way, and transfer windows need to be a lot better. It did give me a little bit of hope pre-match West Ham, because Vinay Venkatesham, our CEO, wrote a 2-page message to the fans stating, everything that, We've identified a number of problems as fans, and the wage structure needs to change, transfer windows need to be better, leadership needs to be better. And he did come out and say, look, we know the issues, give us time, but we need to see changes almost immediately. And we are seeing so many changes at board level as well. Our sporting director is about to leave midway through a January window, and there have been so many changes, but there just needs to be some calmness and some stability at the football club right now, because there's going to be a lot of empty seats again for a Champions League game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, and it's very, very sad to see.
The thing is, Chris, you say calmness, and Thomas Frank is calmness, isn't he? But with everything in mind, just very briefly, any hope at all for tonight? How do you see it going?
Well, we do have an excellent record in the Champions League at home this season, 3 wins. and 3 clean sheets, and we're unbeaten in the last 23 home games in European competition. But Dortmund have only lost 1 in the Bundesliga, so I think it's going to be very, very tough. And we've only got 11 outfield players available. We've got a lot of injuries, suspensions, and other players aren't in the Champions League squad. So I think it's going to be a difficult evening. But me being a Spurs fan, I live in hope that we can have a miracle tonight.
Good man, Chris. Well, thanks for coming on. Always appreciate your time, and we will bring you full commentary of that game. Bodo Glimt, Man City's on as well this evening. That's 5:45, and full commentary, like I say, of Spurs Borussia Dortmund. That's 8 o'clock, and there'll be updates. Inter Milan v Arsenal, Spurs North London rivals. It's now 6:27.
Right.